What's going on, guys? Art here, Off the Dome Media Group. And if you're new to the channel, I make videos about making money both online as well as offline. This particular video is about UserTesting.com, which is a platform that allows you to make money online by testing websites, apps, and doing different types of tasks. Now, in this one, I'm going to answer the number one question that I get both online and offline, and that's this: why aren't I getting tests? So there's a few reasons that could happen, but the top two reasons are this. The first reason is that, quite simply put, your profile information is not aligned or hasn't aligned with any UserTesting.com customers' requests. And that basically means it's not that you did anything wrong, but what it means is that UserTesting has customers, and these are companies and so forth that are looking for input from us, from the panel. And basically they have a specific criteria list that they're looking for. And if your profile doesn't match that criteria, you're not going to get a test. Now, the way they test that criteria is with screeners. So quite simply put, if you're not getting any tests, it means that your profile is not aligned with anything that user testing customers are looking for at that particular time. That obviously may change, and it often does change, but at that particular time, you're not getting tests because your profile information is not aligning with what user testing customers are looking for. Now, part B to that is, well, how do you know? Well, we don't know what they're looking for. If you're not getting tests, it's not a good idea to start changing your profile and moving it around and adding things and removing things at that point, because you don't know how you're going to affect your profile. You may want to start changing information in an attempt to get screeners, to get more screeners, which will lead to more tests. But you don't know which way to go because you have no idea. We have no idea what they're looking for at any given time. In a later video, in the video I'll do later, you kind of have an idea based on the screeners that you get, but that's something for a later video. But in the beginning, when you first sign up, if you're not getting tests, again, your profile is not aligning with what they're looking for right now. Or the algorithm, the UserTesting.com system hasn't matched you yet. It hasn't found you because there's a lot of panelists we're called panelists that do these. And when you first sign up, you have to kind of get worked into the loop. So until you're actually in there, you're in the mix and so forth, then you're not going to get screeners. Also, when you're new, you have no ratings. User testing has a star rating, 1 through 5. When you first start, you have no ratings. So that kind of means, such is life. You're kind of starting at the bottom. And when you're there, it doesn't mean you won't get screeners, but it's just more challenging because if you have 1 star, hypothetically, you have no stars, no ratings, you're new, and you have someone that has a 5-star rating, and you have, hypothetically, which is completely impossible, but this is just for example purposes. Let's say you have the exact same profile. They have 5-star reviews, which means they give excellent reviews, and the customers are happy with the information and the reviews that they've given them. They have 5 and you have none, because you're new. 9 out of 10. This is just in my mind, based on what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking, and the way I think the system works, that makes sense. They're going to get they'll get the screener to potentially get the test. Now, just because they get the screener, they still may not get the test, but they get the screener. So that's the first reason, is that your profile is not aligning with what the customers are looking for at that particular time. Now, the more screeners that you do, and this is the other part, How many screens do I have to take to get a test? I've taken this many screens and I haven't gotten it. That's part of the process. I can't tell you how many screens I've taken. It's countless. It's pointless to count it. But out of 10, if I take 10 screeners, it depends on the day. If I take 10 screeners on a particular day, I may get, I may qualify for 5, which I've done before, 5 out of 10, which is good. Sometimes I may take 10 and get 1. Sometimes I make 10 and get none. It all varies. But here's the other side of it. Those are just the screeners. So you take the screeners to get to the test. So you need to take as many screeners as you can. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. This is the whole part of when I say be patient. This is part of the patience part. This is the process. You got to take the screeners to get to the test. So if you get frustrated, you're going through it and you're like, oh, I don't get them. I've taken 20 screens and haven't gotten a test. If you stop there, well, you're never going to get a test because that's part of the process. You take the screeners to get to the test. The more screens you take, the more tests you will get. When you take the test, when you get the test, you give good reviews. And by that I mean you talk through the process. If you're reviewing a website, and I'm going to do a whole video on that, but when you're reviewing it, okay, well, I see how I like the colors of this website. I like this. I like the fonts. I like this. You talk through it. Continue to talk. If you don't like to talk, you got to learn how to talk. Talk through the process. Speak out loud. They want to hear what you have to say because your opinion matters. They're paying you for your opinion. Make sure you give your opinion. Be vocal. When you're vocal, you speak your thoughts out loud, whether good or bad. They want the information. More than likely, you'll get a good review. Now, from my experience, they don't always give reviews. Now, a review can be 1-star or 5-star. You get a 1-star if you piss them off. A 1-star review is not good. That's 1 out of 5. If you do that, that's basically like, okay, you didn't really put in the effort. Okay, yeah, it's okay. I like the site. I like this. Okay. You may be indifferent about it. You may not be as vocal as you could be. You may be giving short responses just to get through the test so you can finish and get to another one because you think you have that one in the bag. But if you short that one and you get a bad review, guess what? You get a 1-star review and it shows up. Well, that feeds into your whole algorithm and then that affects your ability to get more tests. So you always want to think about the next test. So when you're doing it, do a good job. Be vocal. Think out loud. Speak out loud. Say your thoughts, whether good, whether bad. Let your personality show. They like that, which will ultimately lead to more screeners. Well, for that will ultimately lead to hopefully a good review if they decide to review, but ultimately lead to a good review, which will help you in the whole process to get more tests. And kind of on that point, I know I've had some tests, both on live moderated tests where I'm talking to a person and I'm giving it my all, and nothing. I know I did a good job, not being full of myself or anything, but I mean, a lot of them, I do this because I enjoy it, not just because, I make a couple of dollars, but this particular topic I enjoy. And I like talking about it, but they didn't give me a review. And I'm like, well, damn, but it happens. You can feel like you did a really good job and you did, and you actually did do a good job and still not get a rating. So don't get upset and they don't always give ratings. And I don't know if it's because maybe they get busy or whatever, but sometimes, you may get a rating that'll pop up on something you've done 2 weeks ago. You won't even necessarily remember what it was about, but you'll look up and you'll just have a star next to your, excuse the noise, the background noise, but you'll just have a star out of nowhere or multiple stars or whatever the rating is. So anyway, I say all that to say, give good reviews, which helps you get tests, because you don't want to get bad reviews. You don't want them not only giving you a 1-star review, but then complaining to UserTesting. .com and then potentially removing you from the platform because you get multiple bad reviews. Because at the end of the day, Our job is to review their product or their service. So let's do that. So I'm not going to belabor it, this topic, but simply put, kind of recapping, the one reason is your profile isn't aligning with your with the customers at that particular time. So what do you do to become aligned? Keep your profile up to date, be patient, and just wait. The screeners will start to come. And here's another thing. You will often start getting screeners that are nowhere, not even related to anything that you have in your profile. Sometimes I think they have some that they don't care what they are. They're like a catch-all. They just throw them out there just to see. Some are hyper-specific, hyper-focused on what you do and what you have in your profile. But other times you look at it, it's like, what the hell? Where's that coming from? But you take them. We take them. And sometimes we'll get them. Sometimes we have screeners with one question. You'll get a $10 test, and the screener will literally be one question. Sometimes they have no questions. So sometimes you'll get gimmies or freebies, but you take them as they come. So anyway, number one, your profile isn't aligned. So we have to wait till we align with the customer based on our demographics, our expertise, our work, our passions, our hobbies, our interests, things of that nature. So we need to align with those. The other reason is we're not getting tests is that maybe we did bad reviews. Hopefully we didn't do bad reviews, because we don't do bad reviews around here. That's not what we do. But that could potentially be a reason why, if you've been on the platform for a while and suddenly you're not getting tests anymore where you used to, well, look at your star rating. How many reviews? Think back. Could you have done a better job? That could be a reason. So that's how, that's the process. So that's why you're not getting tests. Your profile's not aligning. Maybe you're got bad reviews if you've been around for a while. You need to do a better job in actually doing the test and things of that nature. But ultimately, as I always say, it comes down to what? A train. It always comes down to be patient, be consistent, and you can make some cash. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.